Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're discussing the short-lived multi-part November special from Cartoon Network, Long Live the Royals.
Created by regular show alumni Sean Szeles, this four-part miniseries revolves around a royal family in a contemporary world of a medieval kingdom preparing for the annual royal feast. Each episode is 11 minutes long and focuses on a different family member in each one.
Mm-hmm. And they had this one year as a sort of Thanksgiving special since there aren't that many Thanksgiving specials around. So they made this little mini-series. You would see one new episode each week leading up to the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and that was a great idea. And hopefully they'll bring it back this year.
Yeah, I hope so too. Because it was really fun.
It was hilarious. I remember the first time you showed me the first episode. And I was hooked the first episode. It was very different. Great comedy. Animation was a little off because, like
regular show.
But the characters were distinct. They were fleshed out, even though it was that miniseries. You got the personality, and you knew who each character was, what they represented. They were very rounded for having a miniseries as their vehicle.
Right. And the way it ended, it made it sound like there was going to be another season.
Right.
Or it's going to be made into a full-fledged series. But I guess that'll be up to Cartoon Network. But it didn't make too much sense because you would think, okay, this is greenlit because it was a pilot at one point. And then this was the full series. And the way it ended, they said, to be continued, because it looked like there was some other secret that was mentioned in there that they were going to do for another story. And it's been a few years now, and there's no sign of it coming back.
Right. And I don't think there's even any word online at all either.
No, I think after it was over, that was it. Most people are now into what's happening with Infinity Train. They're excited that that's going to be a full series because of the ending of Adventure Time and a lot of other Cartoon Network Renaissance shows. So now they're looking forward to see what other serious world-building cartoons are we going to have for the network since we only have one or two left.
Okay. Well, for those who have not seen this excellent show, give them a little backstory about the Royals and what exactly was the arc for this miniseries.
Okay. Well, each character has sort of a mini arc that lasted one episode. The whole thing, they were preparing for a Yule Hare Festival. And I guess it was their version of Thanksgiving or Christmas. And as they were preparing, they would have different events. They would invite different royal guests from parts of the country to come over. And just many things happened. And they even make fun of when they had the intro. You get this really top-notch family. It looks like a royal painting. Then they move the painting over. Then you see this family. It's like, oh, where'd you get that from? Like the king has long flowing hair, and the wife's really skinny, and the sons are muscular. And then they move the painting, and you see all the real family, and it's like.
It's like everyone else's family on
You're
TV.
like, where'd you get that family from?
The characters were. I mean, every family member was hilarious, and they were hilarious in their own way. What I did like about it is that the voice actors were not, I don't think but one person, Wendy McClendon-Covey, I'd heard of. Oh, and Kieran Culkin, Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Yeah, there were actually people you weren't too familiar with. And Alfred Molina, we've seen his name come up a lot, too.
Right.
In different projects.
Oh, right. I mean, he's a pretty big actor, but I mean, as far as the main voices, I wasn't familiar. Well, Horatio Sands. I mean, now that I think about it.
Right.
But they're not really big voice actors when you think about it. And I think that made it even better because the kookiness and everything fit. You weren't thinking, okay, this is Phil Lamar, this is John DiMaggio, this is Tara Strong.
Right.
You weren't thinking of any of that. You were just thinking, these people are friggin' crazy.
Right.
And you were laughing and you just got into it. And I think that really was a strength for this miniseries of having not a lot of big name voice actors. And I think sometimes, as I've mentioned in the past to you when we've been talking off podcast, that can be a really good thing for an animated show or a movie sometimes, having a new batch of voice actors you're not familiar with. It just sometimes is a really, really strong point for a series, and this is in one case where that did work.
Right. And for the family, you have the mom and dad is King Rufus and Queen Eleanor. And you have the three kids, Rosalind, Peter, and Alex. And for the first one, they actually started with, I think it was Alex first. I think he was the oldest. Mm-hmm. They started with him first, and you had to invite one person to the feast. So he went around the kingdom going to make a friend.
Right, because he had none.
Right. And what was funny is that, oh, he has friends. Like, what about when we went to that feast? And they had this whole giant painting of the entire feast from one year. And he's like, where is he? Oh, he's over there, I think, in the back. Oh, enhance. Now, they have technology, but they didn't use it. Like the kids probably used a cell phone or two, but that was it. They tried to stay medieval. And I said, oh, he's in the back. Okay, enhance. And then they would bring in, these two brothers would bring in a whole nother portrait. And then, wait, where is he? That little brother right there. Oh, enhance. And the two more brothers would bring in another picture. Right. Can you, zoom in a little more? And they bring another two butlers. And each painting was like, what? How much did you paint? And then you finally saw him, and he was doing one of those little puzzle things you see in a restaurant by himself on the table away from everyone else. It's like, oh, that was really fun. I help a lion fight some steak and eggs. It's like, you need to make friends now. And he actually tried to make friends with this weird group. I guess they're supposed to be like the cool kids, but they're really weird. I don't remember the name. They were just really, really off. They had really lavish clothing. The leader looked like Fire Emblem from Tiger and Bunny. And they like to pull pranks on people. And they thought those would be the friends he could invite. But, it turns out they weren't all that great.
Right.
The second episode focused on, I think, the daughter, who kind of reminded me of Wendy on Gravity Falls. Mm-hmm. And she wanted to go to this party with her rocker boyfriend. I guess their version of Robbie, because that's what he acted like. Right. And the dad wouldn't let her go unless she went to his mom's festival to celebrate the hare, because their festival, they killed the hare. Theirs, they saved it. And at first it was going well, and then something went wrong, and then the whole place caught on fire. She wasn't allowed to go. And she was actually sending a text message to the boyfriend. She had a phone, she had a laptop. When she was on the move, she couldn't do it, so she sent a messenger bird. And then, she was sent off, and then, 2 seconds later, another bird came back sending her a message. I'm like, that's faster than the email. And the dad found out she sneaked out, and he went and took a whole carriage to go after her. And they even had this little short part where she had this weird, I guess, protective relationship with one of the guards that's always been guarding her room. And she even knows, it's been done so much, she knows him by first name. And he still stays professional, but he's the one that always usually goes with her to different places to protect her. So it's become so annoying that she knows him by first name. And I think that was my favorite of the 4.
Now, Mom and Dad also have their quirky episodes. Mm-hmm. But before we continue on with it, I just wanted to say it was interesting that although this was a Cartoon Network series, it was distributed by Warner Brothers Television. Mm-hmm. So it was odd that, as we were saying, it did not evolve into a series itself. So I guess Warner Brothers was the one who held the cards and decided whether or not it would continue on. Right.
Because it was a pilot, like I said, and the animation looks a little different. Mm-hmm. The characters look slightly different. The story was a little different. Then they just tweaked it a little bit, and when they did the mini-series. Right. The third episode focused on the Queen. And you know it was the Queen. You were hearing this loud roaring at night, and no one could figure out what it was. They thought it was a monster somewhere in the castle. And every day, what was that noise? I said it was nothing. It was nothing. No one else could sleep. She was the only one sleeping. She would be well rested. Everyone else looked like they were so tired. And every time someone asked about the snoring, they would send them to the executioner line. But they had bandits, so they would just cut off their pay. Or their 401k, and that was the executions. Like, oh, we banned that years ago. It was too violent. Oh, well, then she's like, cut off that, and it was just the 401k. They no longer had it. Right. And it was hilarious how they kept doing it every night. It got so bad the king started sleeping in the dungeon with the one prisoner they had there to keep him company. And everyone can say, what's this? Oh, no one was snoring. But we hear it every night. And then the last
and
one.
she insisted that it wasn't her.
Right.
I don't snore. I've never snored. And then we're like,
Yeah, like, what else could it be? If it's not an animal, what is it? And then the last one focused on the youngest son. We wanted to prove he could be part of the hunting tradition for the festival, where they go find this giant hare that's legendary, and they would go out every year to look for it. And then he actually went and found it at some point. We won't reveal how it ends, but it's actually pretty interesting how they've set it up, considering he's been a troublemaker for the other 3 episodes. And you saw him in a different light for this one. He even got tangled up in this Robin Hood-like gang of merry men, and they were all really weird. One was wearing a full bear costume, and you didn't know why. One had on 2 short ties. It was like, okay, what kind of band is this?
Misfits.
Right? But yeah, altogether the show was really fun. It had some comedians in there that we're not too familiar with. So, like you said, most of them were pretty much unknowns. They weren't like the voice actors you see in every other project. They were all people you could just see the characters as characters, and not this person doing a character voice. Like, oh, that's who's doing the voice.
Right, and as I said, that really added a freshness to it, and it made you appreciate not only the series but the characters themselves. Even the opening theme was unique and fit the show perfectly in its quirkiness and its kookiness. So, again, this was a perfect springboard to a series that just never materialized, unfortunately.
You're right. We would love to see more. We're glad we have at least 4 episodes to watch now, but I would like to see another season, see what happened with the cliffhanger, because there was a moment in there where you didn't know what happened to the queen's brother,
right? And
it's hinted something terrible happened, but with the cliffhanger, it's like, okay, that's a whole nother story there, a whole nother season for something else,
right.
But it unfortunately never brought anything else to the table, which is unfortunate. Like I said, we would love to see more, because the characters are really just hilarious.
Definitely.
And not just the main characters. You got like this guy who is like, I guess, the resident, I don't know if he's a warlock or what, and he would make all these potions and stuff, and they would know it. They had, of course, they had these other kings from different countries coming over. Like all these cast of quirky characters coming in with this quirky family. It would just add into the fun.
I would have even been satisfied with them just coming out with a 4-part miniseries every Thanksgiving. That would have been fantastic. But maybe the numbers were not as high as they wanted them to be for the miniseries.
Possibly.
Which is unfortunate. But I think a big part of that is that people didn't know about it.
Yeah, they did advertise it. They did advertise it quite a bit. But I don't think this was something a lot of people were interested in. Because as you know, nowadays people want story episodes, story series. They want world building. Sometimes the standalone ones and just the kooky ones, they don't really do too much anymore. People want a whole story in their shows now, which is why people really miss action cartoons. And Long and the Ross did have a story, but it wasn't like Star vs. Evil or Steven Universe or Gravity Falls, where it's building up to something really big or really huge, and it makes you think. It's just a little fun show for the holiday season. That's it.
Right. One last thing that I thought was really interesting is that it premiered in Africa first, then Australia and New Zealand, and then on Cartoon Network UK and Ireland. So it actually went all around the world attempting to gather an audience, and for some reason it just didn't mesh out.
Right. And like I said, Cartoon Network has been a little bit low in quality department. We still have We Bare Bears. We got Steven Universe. We got OKKO. Adventure Time just ended. We got Gumball still.
But this would have been a great addition to their lineup, because it was quality TV. It was hilarious and perfect, and you know, when you can watch a 4-part miniseries and you can see this arc that was set up, and you can see, as you said, continuing into a whole season, and the characters and everything being interesting and entertaining, and just, you know, laugh out loud, wonderful. It's just, you know, unfortunate it didn't turned into that series,
Right.
and didn't get to see what this show could have been, whether it was in a regular traditional series or again as a 4-part miniseries that came on every year during the Thanksgiving holiday season.
Right. And not only that, the dialogue was also fantastic. A lot of the jokes really were great, and they didn't feel like they were dated or anything.
Exactly.
Or like when they tried to name a baby, he's, I'll name you Samantha. He's like, oh, Samantha's a wonderful name. You think, oh, he just messed up. He's like, no, I said Samantha. Bah, bah. It's like, why would you name that child that? Yeah, I miss stuff like that. So
is this still available to see on demand?
Yes, it actually is going to be there for quite a few years. So if you want to watch it, you're welcome to check it out. Or you want to find the episodes on YouTube, they're also available, including the original pilot, if you like to watch it now or during the Thanksgiving season.
And thank goodness they've been generous in doing that. So take a look, let us know what you think, and leave us some comments below.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
Flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Hit her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you later on in the phone.